if you're somebody trying to build a real estate team, one of the things you need to figure out early on is what the foundational DNA of your organization is going to look like. And what I mean by foundational DNA, I mean like being able to articulate the vision of the business. And that's important because you want people to buy into that shared purpose so they feel like they're working on something bigger than themselves. And you want a mission statement, like something you guys are going to accomplish at a predefined time. And it's something that you feel very confident in being able to accomplish. And then finally, you've got to establish what your core values are as an organization. So when I first got started building a real estate team, like I got a degree in finance, went to business school, and these seemed like just checkbox things, and like I put some stuff on paper and it sounded good, but I didn't really like totally buy into the core values component of it. And so to expand on the core values component for a second, one thing I would encourage people to do is to start studying what makes teams tick, like what makes teams in general, what makes them tick and be really, really successful. So a book I read that I think does a great job helping you understand what the early predictors of success are going to be for a team is a book called Culture Code. And in the book Culture Code, the author talks about how you can tell how successful a team is going to be not based off of any individual's strengths or previous experiences. The earliest indicator of success is how each team member makes one another feel, which is interesting because in sales, I think anybody watching this can agree, like in sales, your mindset is what drives your results. If you're in a playful, optimistic mindset, you're going to do a much better job on the phone than if you're, stressed out and anxious. And so your peers and the people on your team can have a big impact on your mindset. And so your mindset can be driven by your internal values, right? And other people can affect your mindset if they can affect your mindset negatively if those other people around you have different core values. So if you're building a team, the thing I would encourage you to do is, as the team leader, look inside yourself and ask yourself, what is it that really drives you? Like what are the things that you value most in life? So for example, if you're one of those people that has a servant's heart, that's a core value, and finding people with that servant's heart is important because you will meet people that all they care about is the next commission check and trying to maximize their own pocket versus trying to develop lifetime value from a customer. So the thing I encourage you all to do is to look inside, to be really authentic with yourself, and take some time figuring out what are the things you really value, and a servant's heart is a great core value. Another one that I love is resourcefulness. So we've all met people that it's like you just can't do enough to help them. It's like every little thing they need help, like figuring out how to do, like opening up a browser on their computer, or like figuring out how to use the E-key to open up a lockbox in a house. It's like they don't have the ability to be resourceful and, like, for example, call the board of realtors and be like, hey, do y'all have a training class on how to use the E-key to open up a lockbox? So when you're building a real estate team and you're a one-man show, like, you've got to hire people that are resourceful. Like, if you have a bunch of team members that can't be resourceful, like, you guys are going to move really, really slow if you're having to, like, babysit every single person and help them with every tiny little step. So I'm not saying don't train and lead the people you hire, but I'm also saying, like, you've got to find this balance where you find people that are resourceful and will sometimes look outside of the organization to solve a problem they have. Another core value I love is people that are fiercely committed. In real estate, like, there are massive ebbs and flows. If you're watching this and you're a real estate team leader, you probably know personally from being in production as a real estate agent, your production can go like this and it can be super stressful and you're wondering where the next commission check's coming from. But you've got to be super committed. You can't just be like, I'll just sit back and hopefully my phone rings. You can't do that. You have to commit to time blocking every day, to building your database, whether that is, like I mentioned in a previous video, It could be prospecting on the phone. It could be consistently every single day going to some networking function where you have the opportunity to add, a dozen people to your database. Like, these are the things you have to be really disciplined about and super committed to. So if you're doing these things, you're going to be massively successful as an agent and as a team leader. If you are aligning yourself with people that have these same core values, you guys are going to be massively successful. You're going to have this, this synergy from a mindset perspective because you guys all value the same thing. So again, if you're building a real estate team, I highly recommend reading the book Culture Code. I also really like a book called The Rare Find, which talks about the process they have the Navy SEALs go through. There's a chapter in there about a nonprofit called Teach for America that I love, and there's some examples in there around what these organizations do to find elite level talent. And if you're building a real estate team, you're trying to attract real estate agents that are going to perform at 10x the average agent, like, you're looking for like the Navy SEAL of the real estate industry, right? Like, you're not looking for some mediocre agent. So check out those two books. I think they can be a great resource to help you get on the right track. And then, spend some time personally diving into the foundational DNA of the organization you want to create: mission, vision, and core values. And don't treat these things like check boxes. In fact, like your mission, vision, and core values, you should integrate that into your daily language with your customers and with your team members. It's something you guys talk about regularly when you're having team meetings and when you're having training moments with team members. Like, for example, you have a team member that is struggling with setting an appointment. Remind them, like, hey, look, our core values as an organization and the core values you have to hold on to be massively successful are to be fiercely committed, because if you commit to this process, you will find success. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So do those things and you're well on the right track to building a mega team and having a tremendous amount of success.